Hey everybody, and welcome to this Wednesday's MBE Movie News. I am of course John from MBE, and I'm going to be discussing hopefully some very meaty and interesting entertainment and movie related news articles if you like. My headline today is all about, as you've probably gathered from the thumbnail if you are here, 2 new Transformers movies potentially being in development. They're saying Post-Bumblebee. Well, I hope it's not Post-Bumblebee, but I'll get into that in a moment. They do go on to say that Paramount Pictures are finally laying down some plans in a post-Bumblebee Transformers world, if you like. That movie obviously was a huge critical success. The audience, general audience and fans of Transformers and as a homogeneous whole loved the movie, but there was a slight little problem presented to the studio in that obviously that movie didn't perform to expectations at the box office. And that obviously presented the studio with some problems, because even though those Michael Bay Transformers movies were in the main utter piles of shit, they did make money. So there was talk that they could be going away and rebooting it again. There was talk that they could be bringing in Michael Bay again to potentially do more of the same that we had before. Something which I was horror struck by, because I really did enjoy Bumblebee as a movie. I really enjoyed the difference in storytelling, the difference in feel of that movie to the other Transformers movies. It was more introverted, closer. It was more human in its storytelling. It had real rhyme and reason to it. You connected with the character of Bumblebee. You connected with Haley Steinfeld's character. You bought into the relationship between those two. And I just really enjoy Travis Knight as a director, what he has done for Leica and whatnot, what he did in that movie. It was a shame it didn't make as much money as it should have, and it was a shame that we were then stuck in a little pickle about the potential future for this franchise moving forward. But look, it looks like Paramount have finally come up with a dual plan, if you like. Now, whether these 2 movies make it to final development and then into production is another thing entirely. They say that there is 2 writers on board. One is James Vanderbilt, obviously of the Amazing Spider-Man fame, and then the other one is Army of the Dead's Joby Harold. Now, Joby Harold in the Army of the Dead is, of course, Zack Snyder's latest live-action feature-length movie. And it remains to be seen how that one's going to do and how good a writer Joby really is. But in terms of the 2, they go on to say in Cinema Blend, incidentally, where this article is from, that we could see a situation where one is a continuation of the Bumblebee universe and the other is a reboot of the actual Transformers main brand, and we could potentially be seeing Beast Wars as a plot to be following in one of these movies, most likely the non-Bumblebee one, I would have thought. Now, not being a massive mythology fan in the Transformers universe, I've had to search up Beast Wars. Apparently, instead of these Decepticons and whatnot transforming into mechanical vehicles, they actually transform into big mechanical animals. Now, that would be interesting. It'd be a different spin. It would be a completely different cast, I presume, different ideas, and a completely distinct, different entity from the James Bay movies. Or Michael Bay movies, I should say, not James Bay. He's a singer, I'm sure. So yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Am I happy? Am I excited? Well, that would really be determined on by how these movies develop henceforward. If we get 2 distinctly different things which are positive, then I would be on board for it, man. I'd like to see 2 different things. I'd like to see Transformers being rebooted with the right person at the helm, given there's something in between Michael Bay and Travis Knight in terms of storytelling, in terms of balls to the wall action, but a nice human core to it which connects to the audiences, and it maybe opens the demographics who would be interested in the movie up. Now, you look at James Vanderbilt, and he has been involved in the likes of Independence Day, Zodiac, White House Down. This is a man who's completely versed in the action genre. If I was to be a betting man, I would probably presume he would be tackling the reboot of the Transformers franchise, and that the Joby Harold one would probably be the Bumblebee continuation. I personally don't want to see these 2 or one of these biting the bullet. I want to see the 2 of them moving forward into pre-production, production, and then obviously a movie thereafter. 2 movies, because I really enjoyed Bumblebee, as I did say, and I want to see a continuation of that character. I want to see the extremely talented Haley Steinfeld coming in and yeah, I mean, it's positive news, I suppose. That Paramount have finally made a decision going forward where they want to go with this franchise, and it looks like they've finally moved away from Michael Bay. So look, I'm coming across as if I hate upon the man, but look, I just don't connect with his stories. They're just all out CGI fests and action for the sake of action with no distinct story within there. I connected more with Bumblebee. I want to see a continuation of that format and a complete reboot of Transformers as a side affair in a distinctly different universe to Bumblebee going forward. So look, maybe it'll be good news, maybe it won't, I don't know, and I'm going to move on that note because there's not much more to speak on that subject from me. The next one is all about Universal potentially remaking The Thing with new content from the original novel. So this is a continuation of similar theme. Remakes, should they be done, shouldn't they be done? In this case, it's not technically the same. It's a reboot in the previous one. This is a complete remake. It's not a reboot of, or an entire shot by shot new version of the previous movie. This is going to be a distinctly different entity entirely. We are potentially seeing Blumhouse and Universal Studios collaborating, and that we are going to get usage of some lost pages from Who Goes There, of course the science fiction novel from John W. Campbell, which spawned The Thing. Now, is this something again that I want to see? Well, that would depend entirely on the direction, on who is actually directing the movie as well, that the studio takes and the choice they make within. Would I want to see a The Thing remake? Well, probably not, no. Because Kurt Russell and John Carpenter made magic happen in that movie. I always speak... sorry, my nose is very, very runny here. I have a sinus infection, so I'm going to be sniffing a whole lot, and I apologise in advance for that. But I've always argued that movies like that are very much of their time, of their decade, and it's incredibly difficult to recapture the magic that made them what they were. It's like Back to the Future, the original Star Wars movies. You can go back and go through a whole host of other movies, maybe even, I don't know, thinking about horror movies. Halloween, that may be another one. Predator, Alien. These are things that have been attempted again in the modern era, and even though we have better visuals, better CGI, they just don't seem to hit off like the original ones did. And I think it's all down to practical effects, the usage of it, extremely talented makeup artists at the top of their game coming in and making it feel like it's lived in, like it's real, like the gore is palpable. You can't capture that with CGI. We've seen it with obviously Terminator as well, which is something that doesn't seem to take off. And I feel like The Thing would be the exact same. It'd be in a similar sort of grey zone where you're not going to capture the magic of a story, you're not going to get better acting chops than Kurt Russell, you're not going to get a better director in this genre than John Carpenter. And so therefore, to make it work, they'd have to do something totally different and radical. Maybe, I don't know how they'd do it. I don't know how you would top that original movie. It's an absolute cult classic in the horror genre. I suppose this extended sequence, new stuff from the book, would distinctly change the story, that would differentiate from the original. Maybe if we get a good director on board who understands the genre, maybe if we get a really cool, potentially unknown cast of talented actors coming in who are making a name for themselves, then maybe it could work. But I just don't see how it would work. I didn't even know we had a prequel to this movie, incidentally. Joe Edgerton and Mary Elizabeth Winstead starred in it. That's something I have to go and check, because they're two actors that I've really enjoyed in the past. They go on to say here, it's much like what I've been saying in this article, Matthias Van Hennigan's Jr.'s The Thing implemented more shoddy CGI effects, and it never really worked like the Carpenter movie, and I think it would be the same here. The only thing I would say that's going in their favour is the fact that it is Blumhouse, and they know how to make decent little horror movies. They did collab on the most recent Halloween remake, and that was an okay remake. Not a remake, a quasi-reboot sequel, if you like. A reboot of the franchise, a quasi-sequel is the correct terminology. That was okay. We got the original Jamie Lee Curtis and whatnot coming back, the original characters, armed with new, interesting characters. I don't know if you could do that in this movie. I think you'd have to go full in and completely change the cast, so Yeah, I'm completely conflicted on this one. I don't know what to make about it. I don't know if I want it. I'm probably steering more to I don't want it, even though it's Blumhouse and Universal, and it's new content coming from the book. I'm not really on board for it, and I'm going to move on that note to the next topic. It's continuing the horror theme. It's like Halloween. Came early, or came late if you like. It's all about Eli Roth producing a new horror franchise called Clownpocalypse, and Collider are saying that it's an awfully large swing. Now they're saying that he has been working and collaborating with James Frey, an infamous writer who penned a million little pieces, and he's also been working with a digital entertainment company called Free Black Dot on this project. It's going to be an unexpected family horror, they say, that it's going to be based around a social media company putting a filter, some sinister filter, out to their user base, and this turns them all into murderous, psychotic clowns, and a group of teenagers then have to come together and fight to try and take down the CEO behind the madness and restore the world to normal kind of crazy. Like the concepts there, Eli Roth is a man who understands horror like few other directors, producers, writers. I'm well on board for this. I like the concept, but moreover I really like what they say down below, that they are working in conjunction with this digital entertainment studio to maybe add in augmented or virtual reality into the experience. And I really think this is the future of cinema of a certain kind. I don't think it's the future of cinema for art house movies or Scorsese movies, but I think for horror genre and for big bombastic action movies, I think we are going to see in the next decade or so virtual reality sets coming into play in theatres, maybe coming into the home, and you're going to have augmented senses and smells, and it's going to completely immerse you and up the fear factor tenfold. And I think this is the start of something here, and I think Eli Roth, being a man who is rooted in the horror genre, completely understands that. They do say that he's working as a sort of three-pronged attack to bring a game, a movie and a virtual reality experience. So I like the concept, I like the director, or the producer-writer. There is no director yet. And yeah, I'm on board for this, man. I really am. He's passionate about it. He's been speaking about his collaboration with James Frey, and he's been saying you can't do it in the game. You need the highest level of execution, where every step of the way, no idea has been too crazy. So I like the way the man's talking about it. I like the passion. I like the story. I'm on board for it. And I'm going to move on, guys, because I am dying here. My nose is just one to run. It's killing me. Incidentally, the final thing I will add is that Philip Galat is the chap who's writing the script. Now, I don't know a huge amount about this guy, other than to say that he has worked on a variety of horror genres and horror movies prior to this. Love Devon Robots, The Bleeding House. Most recently worked on The Rise of the Tomb Raider. I've never seen that movie. I heard it was okay. Alicia Vikander, I want to say, was in that. Never seen it. So that's intriguing. I've got a guy who's well versed in the genre coming in as well, with a producer who's well versed in that goddamn genre. But look, guys, I'm going to move on to the next topic. It's coming in from Collider again. I seem to be hammering Collider today in terms of news sources, and it's all about Netflix and Apple being in talks with MGM to acquire movies like Bond and Rocky, and what they are saying could be a potentially cataclysmic collaboration for other smaller studios. We've obviously seen the likes of HBO and I want to say Warner Media collabing for HBO Max or Go. I think it's HBO Max. We've seen Disney and Fox come together. We have also seen a wide array of other streaming services popping up, and they're all vying for content as they slowly release of their independent content, if you like, for lack of a better word. Netflix are in a bit of a pickle just now, having lost a lot of stuff to Disney, having lost Friends to, is it HBO that went to? I want to say it was HBO. So they are perhaps looking for some new content to get their little mitts into, or their very big mitts, because they are a sizable company. And I think this could be a potential source of content for Netflix. I think if I was to have a choice, it would probably be Netflix I'd want to acquire the rights to these MGM movies. Of course, MGM is Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, one of the oldest studios in Hollywood. 1924 they were founded, and they have, as I did say, worked on a wide array of different movies, most notably the Bond movies. So this is very intriguing. I'd love to see Bond popping up on Netflix. I would love to see Rocky popping up on Netflix. I'm already a subscriber to Netflix. I don't currently subscribe to Apple, so I am slightly biased and I want to see Netflix getting into this. But look, they go into depth in this article to speak about the wide-ranging implications for smaller studios in this newly established hierarchy in Hollywood, where we could see the likes of Lionsgate and maybe other smaller studios having their content acquired on an individual basis, or maybe collaborating with big streaming services to, I don't know, get their content out to the biggest and largest amount of eyeballs, if you like, possible. I can't really add much more. It's all really speculation at the moment. But as I did say, my personal opinion would be that I would like Netflix to get it, and it's very interesting to see more and more old traditional studios starting to realise the change in the landscape in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, in times, in terms of people and their consuming choices. More and more people are choosing not to go to theatres and watch movies, they are watching it in their house. So they're having to change with the times. It's like everything else. Music had to change, technology in terms of phones and whatnot. Apple changed the game with apps and different things, and that completely changed that sector of life, if you like, and now we're seeing it with film as well. Netflix started it, and they are very much hands-on just now in terms of changing the game in 2020. But look guys, I am done. I am giving it away. This sinus infection is absolutely killing me, and I'm going to move on to the final topic on today's show. Thank God, says me and you, if you've been hearing my sniffing. This one's coming in from Screen Rant. It's going to be very short and sweet. I think I've spoke about this movie, I've spoke the hind legs off it really over the last 2, 3, 4 months. It's all about the Batman, and Matt Reeves officially confirming that production has started on this movie. He posted up a nifty little photo of a director's shutter card, I want to call it, onto, I believe, Instagram or Twitter. And yeah, production has started, which is intriguing because we spoke about set photo leaks in London, I believe it was, and it's coming up here to film as well. Photographs of Colin Farrell in his penguin gear, photographs of what looked like Robert Pattinson in a motorcycle, on a motorcycle in some leather motorcycle gear with a helmet on. So was that all fake news, or was it perhaps second unit stuff which they were getting out of the way before primary production started? I don't know, but look, I am excited that this movie has started. It confirms that it's happening, that we're getting it soon. Within the next few months this movie will be wrapped and it will be getting into post-production, and my excitement level will be reaching fever pitch, because look, the cast is bang on, the director is bang on, the people behind this movie, right down to casting directors, cinematographers and composers are all bang on. Disney seem to have, DC I should say, Lord, it's not Disney, and Warner Brothers seem to have a strategy which is going to be cohesive for some great movies, for some great talent coming in. We of course have J.J. Abrams working with Warner Brothers now. Lord knows what he's going to be doing. I think there was talk that he was perhaps doing something distinctly different. I can't recall what it was he was looking at, but yeah, I'm just excited, man, for this movie, and I cannot wait to see more information coming out. I cannot wait to see the first glimpse of Robert Pattinson in the Batsuit, and it comes to Glasgow, so I'm going to try and pop along and see some behind the scenes stuff getting filmed in my own city. So I'm very excited, guys, and I'm done speaking about it, and I'm going to round up today's show on that note. What the hell did you make about the news that the Transformers franchise could be getting 2 new movies coming out? There's a new horizon for Paramount. What is your thoughts on it? Do you think we should get a continuation of Bumblebee, or should we have a complete reboot of the Transformers franchise, go down the Beast Wars route? If you've got anything to say, you can comment below. You can also comment about The Thing being remade. Is that something you want to see? You can speak about Eli Roth's Clownpocalypse movie, and maybe even Netflix potentially buying over MGM. If you have anything to say at all, you can comment below and let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. And if you do, then you'll see me again tomorrow, hopefully in a better state, with a non-runny nose, feeling a little bit more high in my spirits for another episode of Movie News.